Welcome to another fun, festive episode of the Friday Ramblings. We are here for our second part of our Thanksgiving-themed episodes because when it comes to Thanksgiving, you can't just have one plate of delights, you need two plates. Gotta go back for seconds. It's Thanksgiving! That in mind, we're going to blast out a double dose of Thanksgiving specials because we are talking about two icons of animation who have each had their own Thanksgiving specials that have long served to entertain people throughout the decades. Oh yeah, we are hitting the newspaper comics brought to life in animated glory with wonderful voice acting. I'm talking about Garfield and Peanuts. We're going to first start with the Garfield Thanksgiving special, which debuted in 1989 and featured Lorenzo Music as the voice of Garfield, much like the ongoing television series that came about a couple years later. This was the 10th of 12 Garfield television specials, made between 82 and 91 before the cartoon series began, and was the last of the holiday-themed specials to be produced. Now, this special is a good one because Garfield, of course being known for his gluttonous attitude, is at his best when it comes to a holiday that is all about eating. Specifically, we get that gluttonous attitude turning against him when the day before Thanksgiving, John takes Garfield in to the vet, partly for a checkup, partly so he can continue to flirt and beg for dates from veterinarian Liz. After many rejections and John proving that he truly is the most desperate nerd of desperate nerds, I know, you thought I was going to go for more alliteration with desperate dork, but no, I didn't go there. I said desperate nerd. Haha, fool you. But he eventually wears Liz down and she agrees to show up to his house for Thanksgiving dinner. Figuring that, hey, at the very least, she scores a free dinner out of it. That should be quite filling, due to it being Thanksgiving themed. This results in John going home and, after embarrassing himself and getting heckled by Garfield, attempting to find the perfect outfit to wear to impress Liz, he shows off that he has no clue how to cook a Thanksgiving turkey. For starters, he did not take it out to thaw well in advance, thus leaving it frozen rock solid, also failing to misunderstand various instructions about how to prep the turkey and the stuffing, as well as mangling a few side dishes. This causes certain problems, especially when Liz shows up and John now has to go into panic mode, as he has no food worth eating. He's lucky that he didn't set his kitchen on fire, and has to make sure Liz does not find out. Luckily, Garfield is on the case and convinces John to call Grandma. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Garfield, Grandma showed up in the previously released Garfield Christmas, in which she showed herself as a highly energetic, never nervous, under any circumstance kind of character, and shows up minutes after the phone call on her motorcycle. Hey, nobody says grandmas can't ride a hog, right? She promptly shoos John out of the kitchen, prompting him to stall Liz. This resulting in John discussing the history of Thanksgiving, causing Liz to fall asleep due to the fact that John is so boring he can make anything and everything lame. We love you, John, but that is your role in life. Grandma and Garfield team up to save Thanksgiving dinner, which includes taking a chainsaw to the still mostly frozen turkey and then creating turkey croquettes, which means, for those of you not familiar with all things chefiness, she batters and flash fries that turkey. After, of course, as I said, taking a chainsaw with it to get it in nice little bite-sized portions. She also works on the side dishes with a super quick sweet potato special, split-second cranberry sauce, i.e. dumping it out of the can, and a makeshift pumpkin pie that is prepared much quicker than anything I have ever pulled off. Grandma then tells Garfield that despite John's almost ruination of the holiday, she does love her grandson, and Liz could not find a better man, so she hopes her help with dinner saves the date. Then sends Garfield to wake John up for the big finale, but also going against Liz's concerns about Garfield's weight, prompting Garfield to eat a piece of pie for her as she jumps back on her motorcycle and heads home, thus ensuring Liz never saw her and suspected John didn't do all the cooking himself while she was asleep. When it's all said and done, the dinner is fabulous. Everybody's appreciative for it. Liz gives John a kiss on the cheek and promises to be back next year for Thanksgiving, making John a very happy, nerdy, dorky man. Unfortunately, when it's all said and done, we get a little bit of ironic humor as our boy Odie, who has been busting on Garfield for his, according to Liz, excessive weight all day long, finds himself extra excessively bloated from Thanksgiving dinner, and Garfield gets to turn the tails on his canine companion. So, I know that didn't sound like much, but you gotta remember, it's only a 24-minute special. This, kind of like the Peanut special we're going to talk about, as long as both shows, Halloween and Christmas ones, were done back in the day when, frankly put, 30-odd minutes is about all you needed for a special. Well, really, more like 24 minutes because, you got to add in that commercial time. But they only filled up a 30-minute time slot, as you would tend to get back in the 80s and 90s, multiple specials airing on the same night, instead of nowadays where everything has to be some kind of hour, hour and a half, 2-hour epic. Now, nothing against that if you really have enough plot to push it. But when you're dealing with characters that originated as newspaper strips, and as such are used to quick wham bam, thank you ma'am, punchline delivery, move on till the next day kind of humor, you don't want to go more than 20 to 25 minutes with a given plot because you're going to start treading into serious filler territory. So, the good news is you can track this down on the internet through various websites or purchase it on DVD. It is available in a Garfield holiday box set. Yum yum food. Thus, you can check out this excellent special which features Garfield at his best. We even get a cameo from the newspaper strip's infamous talking digital weight scale, who manages to get a couple jokes at Garfield's expense, including comparing him to Orson Welles. For those younger folks in the audience, Orson Welles was a highly celebrated actor who, at the end of his life, was quite bulky, weighing multiple hundreds of pounds. But, no judgment. I ain't the skinniest guy on earth either. But it makes a good joke for the special. So, check it out. Enjoy the laughs. Make it delightful and delicious. So next up we have a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which of course, as we all know, comes to us via Charles M. Schulz. May he rest in peace. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving was the 10th primetime animated television special from Peanuts and came to us in the year 1973. That means, yes folks, this special is older than I am. It is older than I am and older than my older siblings. This is a true classic. Now, do not let that age scare you off, though, because, like everything Peanuts, it is timeless. Every generation can enjoy it. You don't need remastering. You don't need remaking. You don't need humor updating. That's what timeless means. There is no making it fit the new young crowd and their updated sense of humor. No, it is timeless humor. Everybody will find Peanuts funny. Especially this special. It's an especially special. It's special humor. Special! Now, as I said, this is, of course, a Thanksgiving special, so there is lots of talk about the turkey dinners. It centers around Charlie Brown, who, due to his tendency to get talked into things and have problems standing up to people when they put him in awkward situations, old Chuck finds himself in a lot of trouble due to getting suckered into preparing a Thanksgiving dinner by Peppermint Patty that he has no clue how to cook. But even worse, before he can find a way to explain this to Peppermint Patty, she invites Marcy and Franklin as well. Of course, best friend Linus shows up to help out as much as he can, but only after Lucy reenacts one of her favorite ongoing jokes from the comic strip, which is tricking Charlie Brown into trying to kick a football that she has no intention of letting him kick, resulting in the iconic smack of Charles back first on the ground. It works in animation because nobody gets hurt in cartoons. Do not reenact it in real life. You will, at the very least, knock the wind out of you, which means you will be on the ground for a few minutes, hating your existence. Trust me, I have had the wind knocked out of me. It does not feel good. But back to the main plot, which is Charlie Brown and Linus figuring out how to create an impromptu Thanksgiving dinner when Charlie Brown himself quotes that all he knows how to make is cold cereal and maybe toast. Fortunately, Linus is an intelligent type person and recruits Snoopy and Woodstock to help, as Snoopy, of course, is capable of doing anything in the world because he's Snoopy. As opposed to just Charlie Brown growing a set and telling Peppermint Patty off, but he wouldn't be Charlie Brown if he did that. More importantly, Charlie Brown had planned to go to his grandmother's for Thanksgiving, so it now has to be a quick and early in the day feast so he can still attend his family dinner as scheduled because you don't ever disappoint Grandma. Ever. You even think about disappointing your grandma, especially about Thanksgiving dinner, you go ahead and change your mind real quick. We've already discussed how grandmas can be in our Garfield discussion just a few minutes back. Do not get motorcycle riding grandmas up in your grill. So, we get to the impromptu children's Thanksgiving dinner. This is set up by Linus leading the group in prayer and giving a brief history of the first Thanksgiving, which serves as a great chance to see the Peanuts characters in an extended flashback sequence portraying our favorite historical pilgrims. This is a wonderful breath of fresh air and something a lot of specials really don't touch on. They focus on modern sitcom fare. Let's always remember Thanksgiving is a historical holiday that has very easily traceable roots, unlike stuff like Christmas and Halloween, where, because you're dealing with, at least here in America, a hodgepodge of different cultural ideas about how to celebrate the holidays and when they started, it can be a little murky waters tracing the origin. Thanksgiving, we have a distinct beginning for. When it comes to dinner, though, Snoopy does not cook the standard fare. Because he's Snoopy. He does everything a little different. What do you expect? He's a dog. Snoopy serves up buttered toast, pretzel sticks, popcorn, jelly beans, and everybody gets a personal ice cream sundae. Peppermint Patty being a bit emotional, occasionally short-tempered, and really lacking in social graces on a pretty much constant basis, ends up having a bit of a tantrum over this unconventional dinner, as it was not what she expected to be served, berating Charlie Brown, who exits the table. However, Marcy puts some perspective back in Peppermint Patty, pointing out that this was all her idea and she should be grateful that Charlie did anything for her. Peppermint Patty reasserts her friendly disposition, especially when it comes to old Chuck, as she loves to call him, apologizing in person, as despite her outbursts, she does know that friendship comes before anything else. Unfortunately, by this point, Charlie Brown realizes he and his sister Sally are due at their grandmother's house for dinner, so he makes a quick call to explain the situation. When Grandma hears that Charles and his friends are all gathered together, and that his friends don't have any real Thanksgiving plans, I've always considered that a bit of a plot hole. Like, we've gotten hints about Linus and Lucy's family, because they are siblings, but you never really hear about anybody else's family in this. I mean, with Patty, Marcy, and Franklin, you have 3 unrelated people, which means 3 households. Where were their Thanksgiving dinners? What was going on? Yeah? I'm sorry. That's a little bit of a plot hole for me. I know I'm not supposed to overanalyze this, but I've seen a lot of Peanut stuff. I've read a lot of Peanut strips. Seen most of those specials I had mentioned. It's just something that always seems weird to me. That they never mention why these 3 did not have other Thanksgiving dinner plans. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. But anyway, Grandma does the things that grandmas do, which is be freaking awesome. Grandma decides, since they have not yet eaten, at least anything of substance. I'm sure, somebody sampled at least a little bit of that popcorn and jelly beans, if not some toast. And come on, you don't want to waste a good ice cream sundae. But since they have not had a proper traditional Thanksgiving dinner, Grandma says that everybody can come to her house. She's got food to spare. That's always been my favorite part of the special because, I'm going to get real personal here for a moment. My late grandmother was one of these women that she always cooked extra food to make sure everybody got their fill. The people had the option of taking stuff home if, after initial plans were made, much like this, somebody's friend was around, that there would be food for them. I mean, that's just how she rolled. She was a very wonderful and caring woman. Even if it was a simple birthday party, everybody ate their fill. And that's always been why I love the ending to this special, because Charlie Brown's grandmother always reminds me of my grandmother, who unfortunately has not been with us for many years. Okay, recenter, focus back on the peanuts here. Thus we get to the end of our special where all the kids pack into that good old-fashioned, old-school 70s station wagons. The older audience members here know what I'm talking about. Those station wagons that were basically what we would now call minivans. You could fit all kinds of people and all their stuff in those things. Big, expansive cars. They literally do not make cars like this anymore. Which I've always found hilarious because you see all these car commercials bragging about, oh, how much foot space and head space we have, and oh, you can fold these seats down to make more space. And I'm still sitting here going, man, why don't you just build them like you did in the 70s? Nobody complained about a lack of space in some 70s station wagons. Those things were the bomb. But I digress. I don't know. Maybe some of my older viewers can sit there and jump on here in the comments thread and explain to me that, oh yeah, actually no, we have been known to pack out a station wagon. You just got to do it right and have plenty of stuff. We can start a little 70s station wagon discussion in those comments down below, after this video, of course. But all the kids go into the station wagon singing the iconic "To Grandmother's House We Go," leaving Snoopy in Woodstock to go to his doghouse that, much like Doctor Who's TARDIS, is always much larger on the inside than it looks from the outside. And they cook up their own traditional Thanksgiving meal, which of course makes Snoopy kind of look like a jerk for not cooking that for the kids if he was capable of cooking it for him in Woodstock. This ends with Woodstock getting the bigger part of the wishbone in the wishbone pole. Again, younger kids, talk to your parents and grandparents about the whole wishbone thing. It's kind of an old tradition you don't really see most people enacting anymore. I don't know why. Or maybe they do and I just don't notice because I spent a lot of the last few years working on Thanksgiving. Or at the very least, if I am there, staying far away from the kitchen because I don't want to get shooed away with a snapping kitchen towel. Towel snaps hurt. Still, they settle it all with large pieces of pumpkin pie as the credits roll. And in 25 minutes, we have told a full story, including, as I said, an extended flashback about the first Thanksgiving. So, where does this leave a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? Well, it is, as I said, a truly great holiday special with a wonderful ending where everybody gets what they need from the holiday, which is family togetherness and delicious dinners. This special is available on DVD. I myself own it as part of a holiday box set. But unfortunately, starting this year will not air on CBS as it has been since its original 1973 debut. It did occasionally it did air on both CBS and ABC. Pardon me. However, now it will not be shown on network television due to Apple TV having become the exclusive home of all Peanuts specials. Thus, you have to have their Apple TV Plus streaming service to see this holiday special. Much like the Garfield special, it was the third one made. But, complain to Apple. No, seriously. I've seen a lot of people on social media upset when they realized that because of this new licensing thing, that they couldn't just turn on their cable TV and watch the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, as well as the upcoming Charlie Brown Christmas and the previous Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown Halloween special. It's just been really upsetting to a lot of Peanuts fans this year, because not everybody has that Apple TV service. It is a subscription service, which means it costs money. Boo on you, Apple. Boo on you. That's why I made sure to buy them several years ago on DVD. I mean, this was before the Apple thing, but I just, in the back of my mind, I was always like, it is a licensing thing. You never know what's going to change in network television. Let's just go ahead and have our own copies. I can watch at my leisure. And trust me, it is worth watching at your leisure. So, how good is the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? Well, it won an Emmy Award. And let me tell you, that's impressive. Not everybody gets an Emmy. So, check it out however you can find it. Scour the internet. If you do have Apple TV, go for it. For now, I'm going to tell you goodbye. I'm going to be back in 7 days. It's not going to be some Thanksgiving themed, but it will be fun entertainment for all. So, good night, folks. I will see you in 7. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any episode of any of our shows. Later, taters.